Hi, welcome to the daily analysis with volume profile, price action, auction theory. Remember, it's not a recommendation, it's only for educational purpose. Today is February the 13th, and let's start with Dow Jones. Dow Jones, the price is very close to the weekly VPOC of last week. Then above the point we have two final VWAP lines, about 33,935 and 33,984. These are the two first targets, and the third target will be this price action zone, very close to the maximums of these two last weeks. About lower targets, first of all, value area low of last week, 33,688, let's mark it, and then this price action zone. Let's extend. If we break this zone, including this minimum of last week, we could go to the next step of price action zones, about 33,500. Well, let's go with S&P. S&P, we have this wedge. It was broken, violent movement, as always happens when a cradle or a wedge is broken. And after touching these targets, we are in the lower zone of last week, even below the value area of last week. So let's see what are the targets. Talking about lower targets, minimum of last week, this high volume node in 4055, and the great target would be this zone, this final of VWAP line, about 4038. Talking about higher targets, the main target would be, of course, this weekly VPOC, naked VPOC on 4,124. Just below this point, there is a final of VWAP. It could be another resistance. And then here we have a downtrend line. It works as a resistance, talking about price action. And if it breaks this zone, this line, it could go to the next step, this high volume node on 4,155. About DAX. DAX is the same, the cradle, the wedge was broken, and it went to this price action zone. Okay, we got this target, and we can see this price action structure that it usually has two great targets. The extension 100%, it's what we got, 12,338, and the next one will be this zone, 12,047, about this zone. Before getting this zone, we have this high volume zone. It's not only a node, but a zone that begins at 12,145. Well, these are the lower targets. Talking about higher targets, first of all, this point, final of VWAP line, 12,405, and then the weekly naked VPOC of last week, 12,551. Okay, let's see what happens with light oil. Light oil, we talk about this structure this profile, we can see this profile that the value area high is on the upper zone. We can see also in the upper zone the VPOC, weekly VPOC. Here we have another high volume node. And talking about auction theory, we could look for the symmetry of this zone and go to these targets, this price action zone with these maximums about 82.58 approx. Well, let's see what happened about lower targets. Well, before talking about lower targets, before going to this zone, we have here a weekly VWAP 80.97. It would be a higher target. Of course, this daily VPOC on 77 would be our first higher target. Well, talking about lower targets, the main target will be this point. Very clear, 77.75. Weekly naked VPOC. Second one would be this point where there are two final VWAPs, 77.10, very close to 76.81. Okay, so that's all with light oil. Let's see what happens with gold. Gold, this great volume profile, we can see we're going to this high volume zone that begins at 1863 to 1786, with maximums at this zone at 1825, 1809. But we must look in this time frame, 1 hour. We have the typical structure, a leg, a cradle or wedge, and it's breaking. we always say that it's very usual that we can make a second leg like the first one. Once we break this wedge, we could go to this zone. But before it, we must face some high volume nodes. The first one is the minimum of today. It was a target. Today we have reached this target, 1866. Next point would be this volume point of control, this weekly naked VPOC at 1845. Next step, this point, weekly naked VPOC at 1823. Talking about higher targets. First one, this is an all weekly VPOC, 1881. Next step, this last week naked VPOC, 1886. Then if the price continues rising, here we have a price action zone with these minimums of this week and the maximums of last week. If we go above this point, next step would be the point of 1911, about a weekly VPOC. And last one, all this zone that begins at 1931 to 1941. Last one is DAX let's refresh. Okay, we can see this structure, this volume profile structure of last week. And beware, because if we fall below this weekly VPOC, this high volume zone, we could go, if we respect the auction theory, we could go to these zones, this price action zone, 15,063. But let's see, because, well, the price has rebounded in this price action zone. It was a target. It was also a support. And now the price is rising. What are the targets? First one, let's quit this point. Let's quit this and this. First point about higher targets would be 15,444. In my opinion, it's very difficult to look for upper targets. Perhaps step this point, 15,519. Let's see if the price touches this point. What's the behavior? Because here is the high volume node, and as I told you, beware, because if the price goes down again about this point and breaks this support, it could go quickly to this zone, 15,175. Well, that's all. Good luck and see you tomorrow. Bye.